Hey, Aaron asked me to take a look at AFRM on a weekly chart. He identified a coupling handle. The coupling handle is a formation that what they say is when the price action forms what looks like a mug with a handle, right? Like let's say this is the mug and it has the handle, right? It usually is a sign of a bullish movement, right? Or you could have one to the downside. So here's how I'm seeing the cup and handle that Aaron is identified. So here's the base of the cup. So here's the top part of the cup, right? Here's one edge of the cup. Here's the base, and now I have a handle forming, right? So he's looking for he. This is considered a bullish pattern, right? Um, this chart, I should step back. This is a weekly chart. So every candle reflects the price activity for a week. So this is the last week, and you can see the dates down here. This is the week that began 11/15. This is the week that began 11/8. Right. I have five moving averages. Right? I like to look at price action, particularly for long term, in relationship to five moving averages. Right? You can see the averages were stacked, but they were stacked to downward momentum. This is short term moving average, so that was on the bottom because the stock price was dropping. And it was dropping so strong that they evened out. They were bunched up, indecision, it evened out, but to the downside. And now look at what happened to this run. This current run is causing them to start to straighten out. Is just needs the last two lines to reverse over here. So what I did was I brought in some Fibonacci's, but I wanted to evaluate support and resistance from this current run, which started here and ended here, right? So I brought in this Fibonacci line, and let me bring this in so that you guys can see how I do that, right? So I come over here to drawing tools, I select drawing tools, and then I hit the percentage, and I want to check it from where my run ended, and I'm coming all the way back to where it started. So that dotted line. So you can configure your Fibonacci's. I configured it that I like. These are targets that I like on the Fibonacci. Uh, so I could see that this run up, the stock has now fell to about the 61.8% of this run up, right? So if this would have run up started and this is 100% where it completed, it's now trading at about what was 61%, which was here, this line here. It's trading at about 61.8% of this run up. It is reverted back to 61.8%. So this is now what we would call support, right? This was resistance. It never touched it. This is support. And actually, let's just bring in one more line. So this is the immediate support because this is where, the resistance, this is where it ended. This is my new support. If I'm trading this based on a weekly, what I'm looking to see happen is how does it react to this resistance? If it breaks through, how does it act to this support? If it breaks through, then I got to find where my new support levels is, right? If it breaks through that, then my next support target would be down here, right? But if I get a green candle this week to the upside, I can play it for the 176. I can play it back to back to complete the previous run, or I can target here, right? Let's just say let's give you one more thing to consider when we're looking at this. So let's just take all of this out, right? Let's say it bounced off of this number, right? A run to an equivalent run. If it was to make another run like this, and there's no guarantees, right? This is 100. This is from 0 to 100%. So if I'm at 61.8% and it bounces up to the upside, 161. So a run from here to here, 245, would be the equivalent of this run. We don't have to play it for 100%. This is 100% of what that run was. Another 100% would be from here to here. we don't. I would never be playing anything to run 100%. That's 100. That's 100 points. We're not playing it for that, right? So let's just see what the option chains are. Let's see what. Let's bring in some shorter targets, right? So if I was to play it to come back to here, I would be playing it from 134 to 176, which is what a 40 point movement, a 42 point movement. What option chain makes sense if I'm playing for 42 points, right? February 18th, January 22nd. These January 22nds, the market makers are looking for 40 points, right? So if I played for, let's say I went for here, February, right? These are 49 points. If I was looking for 70% of this, right? 70% of this would probably be about 30 points, 28, 30 points. Where would 30 points be? 166? 166 is just below my 100. So I could target these comfortably. I could play for something like the February options. I could play option chains for February, right? Let's see what the volume looks like. I could play not a lot of volume on those. So I would probably play these January. I could play this 140, right? I could play for this one. But the key, my trigger for getting in is I need a positive bounce to the upside. All right. So I'm only looking for 40 points. That's what I'm looking 40 points. I'm looking for 40 points. And what I would say if I'm targeting 40, I would do 2 to 1. I'm wrong if it drops another 20 points. Right? If I'm targeting 40. So 20-point drop for me would be, let's look at my Fibonacci's. So I'm using Fibonacci's to establish when I'm right and when I'm wrong. I'm targeting here, right? If I use this Fibonacci, that's 107. That's 25 points, right? That's 20. That's 20. That's 31 points. So that's too much. I can't fall back to here. Let's remove that. Oh shucks. So let's remove this one. Where is this? This is 123. This is 114. So I like that. That's 20 points, right? So I, if I get a green candle, I'm wrong if it falls back to here. I'm targeting this. I would be targeting 176. I'm wrong if it falls back to, this is 114. I'm wrong if it falls back to 114, which 114 from here is another 22 points. I'm targeting 40 points. I'm wrong if it falls 20 points. Guys, I know this was long-winded, but I'm showing you how I analyze stock, right? How I set my target. I'm looking for a bounce up. This would be my target. I'm wrong if it hits here. So the trigger is a reversing candle. Let me know if you have any questions.